Angelica, you are the chosen one!
Just wanna be part of your symphony.
Angelica Hale has been booked and busy, and what she's up to now has to be the biggest plot twist of America's Got Talent. But one thing is for sure, she hasn't lost that sparkle that made her unforgettable. If anything, she's shining brighter than ever. And trust me, the road to where she is now wasn't always glitter and Grammys. There were highs, lows, a few jaw-dropping pivots, and even a couple of secrets that never made it to the AGT stage. Where is Angelica Hale now? Stick around, because it gets good. Remember the tiny powerhouse with the big voice who stole our hearts on America's Got Talent? We are talking about Angelica Hale, the little girl who brought the judges to their feet and had millions wiping away tears. It's been a few years since she wowed the world on that glittery stage, and this has left fans wondering, where is she now? Did Angelica fade into the background like so many child stars? Or did she take that golden momentum and soar? Buckle up, because her story is one that is not only captivating, but motivating, and what she's been up to might just surprise you. The illness that almost took Angelica Hale's life before fame found her. Before the lights, the standing ovations, and America's Got Talent turned her into a household name, Angelica Hale was fighting for her life. It all started in 2012, when she was just 4 years old, barely old enough to read, let alone process what her little body was going through. One moment, she was your average energetic kid, and the next, she was being rushed to the hospital, struggling to breathe. Doctors diagnosed her with a severe case of double pneumonia. Now, pneumonia alone is serious, especially for a child. But in Angelica's case, it wasn't just serious, it was catastrophic. Her lungs weren't just inflamed, they were failing, and this was where the real nightmare began. As the infection spread through her bloodstream, Angelica developed sepsis, a condition so dangerous it sends the body into shock. For those who don't know, sepsis is like your body's defense system going haywire. It doesn't just fight the infection, but it starts attacking your own organs. And in Angelica's case, that's exactly what happened. Things escalated quickly, and her kidneys shut down, followed by her entire immune system collapsing. She was placed into a medically induced coma, and during all of this, her parents were faced with the unthinkable, the possibility she might not make it. The situation was so severe, she was put on ECMO, a life support system that literally pumps and oxygenates your blood outside your body, because her organs just couldn't do it anymore. Angelica spent the next 80 days of her life in the hospital, which was almost 3 full months of wires, machines, beeping monitors, and a constant stream of nurses and doctors trying to keep her alive. But through it all, her family never left her side. Her mother, Eva in particular, became more than just her caregiver. She became her lifeline in every sense of the word. Eventually, when Angelica managed to pull through the infection, her kidneys were permanently damaged, and dialysis became a part of her daily routine. Her little body at just 4 years old was already experiencing the kind of medical regimen that some adults can barely manage. But Eva Hale didn't hesitate. She got tested, went through the process, and when the results came back, she was a match. Without a second thought, she donated one of her kidneys to her daughter in 2013, saving Angelica's life in the most selfless way possible. That transplant gave Angelica not just a chance to survive, but a chance to live. From that point on, Angelica wasn't just a survivor. She was a walking miracle. It was during her recovery that something unexpected started to shine through. Confined to her home while recovering, Angelica began singing around the house. What came next wasn't just recovery, it was revelation. The world was about to meet a tiny girl with a voice that would stop time on live television. Angelica Hale's AGT takeover, the tiny singer who made the world stop and listen. When Angelica Hale stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage in 2017, she was just 9 years old, but there was absolutely nothing small about what she brought with her that day. The moment she opened her mouth to sing Andra Day's Rise Up, the entire room changed. You could literally feel the energy in the building shifted, the judges perked up, and jaws quietly dropped. Now the thing about AGT is, it sees hundreds of auditions every season. Many are forgettable, some are good, and a few are incredible. However, Angelica made you stop scrolling, stop snacking, stop whatever you were doing, and watch. Her voice didn't just carry notes. You could tell she'd lived through something. Every line she sang was dipped in something deeper than talent, that even Simon Cowell, the king of stone-faced criticism, leaned in just a little closer during her performance. When she hit those massive, soaring notes near the end, you could actually see his eyebrows shoot up. After her performance, he said to her, "You're tiny. Your voice is huge. I have a feeling we may be looking at a star in the future."
You're tiny, your voice is huge. I have a feeling we may be looking at a star in the future.
However, this wasn't a one-performance wonder situation, if anything. Angelica came back stronger each time. The judge cuts rolled around, and for those who don't know what the judge cut is, it is basically a specific round of competition where the judges, including a guest judge, evaluate acts that previously passed the initial auditions. During this round, acts are further evaluated, and the judges, including a guest judge, can select acts to advance to the live shows or use their golden buzzers to send an act directly to the live shows. In this round, Angelica sang Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire, and her voice danced over the melody with such confidence that you almost forgot she was still a kid. She brought along with her this vocal maturity that seasoned adult performers often struggle with, and this earned her the golden buzzer from guest judge Chris Hardwick. Let's clarify that the golden buzzer isn't just for a good performance. It's not even for a great one. The golden buzzer is meant for once-in-a-season moments, and when Chris Hardwick pressed it, Angelica burst into tears, along with half the viewers watching at home. That single moment practically broke the internet, and clips of her golden buzzer performance racked up 296 million views on YouTube. By the time she hit the finals, Angelica had not only captured the hearts of viewers across America, but she'd also built something rare on reality television, and that was respect. When she performed Symphony by Clean Bandit, featuring Zara Larsson in the final round, she became a full pop star. Even though she ultimately finished as the runner-up to Darcy Lynn Farmer, another talented young act who brought her own brand of magic with ventriloquism, Angelica's impact didn't fade. If anything, her fame only accelerated after the finale, and she became one of the most talked-about contestants in AGT history. She didn't win the trophy, but she won the world's heart. Yet the real test wasn't on stage. After the spotlight dimmed, Angelica faced a new challenge: staying unforgettable. Reality television, darling to national treasure. Angelica's post-AGT life is the kind of evolution that deserves way more attention than it gets. Barely a year after AGT, she was standing on a float at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on November 23, 2017, performing live in front of millions of viewers across the country. But if you thought that was a one-off, think again, because she sang the national anthem at major league events. She performed at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the Falcons versus Cowboys. On September 17, 2017, and at Heinz Field for the Steelers versus Ravens on December 11, 2017. Angelica's rendition of the anthem at these games drew serious praise. Sports fans, who aren't usually known for being sentimental, were seriously moved. While most kids her age were busy trying to survive middle school, Angelica was rubbing shoulders with public figures and using her platform for causes that mattered. She became the first official child ambassador for the National Kidney Foundation and the Sepsis Alliance, turning her near-death experience into an engine for advocacy. But let's not forget that, at her core, Angelica is an artist. She got in the studio, worked more on her voice, experimented with sound, and then she dropped music that reflected where she was in life. Her debut EP, Feel the Magic, was more than just a collection of songs. It was a personal statement released independently to showcase her range not just as a vocalist, but as a young girl learning how to tell her story through music. Tracks like the title song were full of optimism, but they also carried depth. You could hear the maturity in her voice and the sincerity in the lyrics. Clearly, she wasn't a bubblegum pop trying to cash in on a kid audience. This was a young woman finding her artistic voice in a way that was fresh, self-aware, and real. Let's take a moment to talk about visuals. The Feel the Magic music video didn't feel like it was made by someone still in their teens. It was polished and conceptual. Angelica had clearly surrounded herself with a team that respected her vision and wasn't trying to shove her into a prefab pop princess mold. There was color, creativity, and most importantly, personality. As her music grew, so did her audience. She stayed active on YouTube, sharing not just performances, but behind-the-scenes content, question and answer sessions, and the occasional raw, emotional vlog. She talked about her health journey in more detail, addressed the pressures of being in the spotlight so young, and shared her passion projects, all while keeping the energy warm and unfiltered. She conquered the stage and stole America's heart, but Angelica wasn't done. Just beyond the curtain, a new spotlight awaited, one that would take her from center stage to the silver screen. From center stage to the big screen and beyond. In 2018, a year after her America's Got Talent breakthrough, Angelica landed her very first movie role in a little indie gem called American Reject. It wasn't some flashy Hollywood blockbuster with explosions and a predictable plot. American Reject had grit, a touch of satire, and the kind of offbeat heart that most mainstream films wouldn't dare to touch. Directed by Marlo Hunter, the film follows Kay Montgomery, a reality television singing star who gets eliminated and sent back to her southern hometown in what is basically a televised walk of shame. It's quirky, smart, and a sharp commentary on the way fame works. Angelica played Anna, a young, wide-eyed girl who reminds the lead character of everything she once was. Her performance didn't feel like a cringy, over-rehearsed child actor moment. It felt real. Around the same time, Angelica took her talents behind the mic in a totally different arena, and she began voice acting. This is where things get interesting, because unlike live performances where everything hinges on stage presence, voice acting strips that all away. It's just your voice, a script, and the pressure to bring a character to life without anyone ever seeing your face. Her breakout voice acting role came with a project that, to this day, not enough people are talking about: Maya Unstoppable. It wasn't your typical tween heroine series. It was full of energy and fun, but it also highlights what it means to be a young girl navigating the world with resilience, curiosity, and a little bit of sass. Angelica voiced Maya herself, and you could hear how much fun she was having. There was this spark in her delivery that feels totally different from when she sings. As Maya, Angelica got to play with humor, express vulnerability, and channel a range of emotions that stretch way beyond a ballad. From awkward crushes to major school wins, her voice rides the rhythm of each episode with surprising nuance, and because this is animation, she was free to become someone else entirely. She lit up the screen and brought characters to life with just her voice, but Angelica's next act would demand more. Angelica Hale's Broadway era begins. Angelica made her official stage debut in Boop, the Betty Boop musical, at the iconic CIBC Theater in Chicago during its pre-Broadway run from November to December 2023. Now, if you don't know what this means, let me break it down for you. Chicago was the testing ground, a proving stage. It was where producers put big-budget shows in front of real audiences before they dare take them to Broadway, and Chicago crowds don't fake their applause. If a show doesn't hit, they will let you know, but Angelica hit hard. In Boop, Angelica plays Trisha, a quirky, bold, Betty Boop-obsessed teen who's all energy, sass, and big feelings. Trisha isn't your typical sidekick or throwaway character. She's the heartbeat of the show. A girl who idolizes Betty Boop like she's Beyoncé, and who desperately wants to find her place in the world. Angelica brought something so natural to Trisha that it felt less like acting, and more like she was channeling this character from deep within. On stage, her performance wasn't just technically solid, it was electric. She moved with purpose, hit her lines with comedic timing, and when it was time to sing, she delivered. It wasn't America's Got Talent, Angelica giving a power ballad. This was a Broadway-caliber performer shaping a character through voice, movement, and emotion. Her solos had nuance. Her harmonies were tight, and when she sang about her love for Betty Boop and the confusion of growing up, the audience felt it. Critics in Chicago took notice. Theater blogs and regional reviewers were calling her a standout, praising her for bringing a fresh energy to the production. But here's the part that sent her fans into full meltdown mode. Boop wasn't just a one-city show, and in 2025, that dream officially became reality. On April 5, 2025, Angelica Hale made her Broadway debut in the role of Trisha in Boop at the legendary Broadhurst Theater in New York City. It wasn't just a personal milestone, it was a cultural moment. Red carpet rolled out, flashbulbs everywhere, celebs, theater kids, media personalities all packed in to see if Angelica would bring that Chicago magic to the Big Apple. And of course, she did. Angelica's Broadway Trisha had more confidence, more layers, and you could tell she'd been working. From the way she hit her cues to the chemistry with her castmates, everything was sharper. Her comedic beats landed cleaner. Her voice had a new level of control. It was less showy, more storytelling. It wasn't just about proving she could sing, but it was about making you feel something through song. She's also embraced the theater grind because Broadway means 8 shows a week, minimal breaks, and keeping it fresh every time. It's demanding, and Angelica has been showing up, curtain after curtain, giving fans the kind of performance that turns casual ticket holders into die-hard supporters. She conquered Broadway with charm and power, but the stage is only part of her spotlight. The digital footprint of a star growing in real time. Most people of Angelica age who've tasted even a fraction of her fame would be running to TikTok for trendy dances or uploading polished, oversaturated lifestyle vlogs just to stay relevant, but not Angelica. The moment you land on her Instagram, you realize this isn't a teenager performing for the algorithm. It's a young woman curating her career. Her feed is a mix of performance snapshots, backstage smiles, fan reposts, and high-quality stills from her Broadway run. Angelica doesn't overshare, nor does she flood your feed with drama or chaos. Instead, she lets you in just enough. You see the polished moments like her in full costume as Trisha, posing in front of a glowing marquee, but then you also get the quiet moments. Then there's also YouTube. It is really impressive how she's built her own channel into a real platform with over 3 million subscribers. And they're not just passive numbers. Her fans actually engage. They comment, they come back, they click next. The content varies. Some are covers, some are behind the scenes from her performances, and some are personal updates. But it all shares one consistent vibe: ownership. Angelica doesn't try to match YouTube's endless trend cycle. She doesn't chase clickbait. What she does do is create meaningful videos that offer a mix of talent and transparency. It's also worth noting that her comments section is a safe space. Instead of the usual chaos of spam, hate, or attention-seeking noise, you'll find a mix of longtime and new fans who genuinely admire her journey. They talk about how they've watched her grow, how their kids now look up to her, how her songs help them through their own rough days. That kind of connection isn't built overnight. That's years of consistency, of showing up and being real, in an ecosystem that rewards filters over feelings. In a digital world where authenticity is often faked and vulnerability is a branding tool, Angelica Hale's social media presence feels grounded. There's no thirst for viral fame, no desperate reinventions. She's not the kid chasing clout. Instead, she's the young woman crafting a career. She gives you just enough sparkle to stay inspired, just enough grit to feel the work behind it, and just enough silence to keep you intrigued. So if you're still thinking of Angelica as the girl with the big voice and the golden buzzer moment, take a scroll through her pages, because what she's building now isn't about going viral. It's about lasting, and in the fast, flashy world of celebrity, that's the rarest thing of all. What do you think is next for Angelica Hale? Do you see her headlining her own world tour? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you enjoyed this video, click on the next video on your screen.